Andrew Tate, student loan scammers, and unhoused people. It's the Chico Manuel Show. Let's get it. The following excerpt comes from a very, we'll say, confused girl on Reddit. Headline: found hurtful text between my ex, male 23, and his female friend talking bad about me, female 22, and I do not know how to proceed with our relationship now. And I'm just going to warn you, I'm going to be summarizing this shit because it's way too long-winded for what the fuck she's trying to say, but I'll do my best. I'm going to start this off by saying I know I should not have gone through his phone, but I did, and I saw a text of him saying how he can't stand me and my neediness is irritating. I think mostly after sex because I like cuddling and kissing a bit and he just wants to be alone. I guess that's me being needy, although I thought this was normal. And he doesn't love me, and he said all this to a girl he's known for less than a year. I'm so hurt by this as we spend the whole night together being intimate, etc., and this happened. Also meant to say that the messages were about a month old. I saw text between his other friends saying he ruined something beautiful between him and me and that maybe we will reignite something in the future. And now I really don't know what to do, think, or say. When I saw the hurtful things he said, my whole body started shaking and my heart started racing. When he got out the shower, I just had to pretend like I was fine till I parted ways with him, and I just abruptly told him that this would be the last time I'm seeing him. He touched my hand, said sorry, and asked for a hug, but I rejected the hug because I was very upset. He texted me asking me what was wrong, but I never answered him, and he texted me again saying, please get back to him, and I still haven't said anything either. A bit of background is we dated for about 3 years and been on and off for about another year. It feels like both of us are meant for each other in a way, but it's just the wrong time, but I'm not sure as I'm starting to second guess that. When we went no contact, I reached out to him a month after out of impulsivity, and I genuinely missed him. And he said he missed me and was glad to hear from me and listed everything he missed about me. But I'm starting to think I'm just a piece of ass to him, nothing more. I'm really sorry if this is all over the place, but I could really use some advice, please. I've just been thinking of ghosting him and not responding at all, or just texting him, but I can't say that I went through his phone and he will be upset and more. Trust will be lost and will fuck up the future if we were to rekindle. I just want him to know how hurt I am. I mean, I know he knows I'm hurt about something, but he doesn't know what. My therapist suggested that I could just say I felt differently this time and want to part ways. Any advice is appreciated. Merci. Okay, so, it's pretty all over the place. Indeed. But she's sorry for it. And this is also somehow not suitable for work. I don't get that either, Reddit. But yeah, so this poor young woman is confused. She's been dating a guy for 3 years and then on and off for a year. And she feels like something's there, but she can't really put her finger on it. And she says she didn't want to talk to him anymore, but she's missing him even after time has passed, and he's missing her. And it's like, my advice would be just kill that. That's dead. Like you are having adventures with a dead companion. Like whatever y'all had is not what y'all have. And I don't know about you, but I kind of live in a world of right now. I don't live in a world of 2 weeks ago or a world of 2 weeks in the future. Like, I live in the world of right now. And right now, I know y'all are young, 22 and 23, but like, do you think this man's gonna put a ring on your finger for whatever reason? And I don't care about all the qualities, man. I'm just up to between you and him. Do you think he's gonna put a ring on that? Because you in your peak right now. So you don't really have all the time to really shuffle through motherfucking all these jokers coming through. You don't have that luxury. So if you're not yourself like focused on marriage and you gallivanting around in these short-term misadventures and for like whatever little short-term recreational dopamine hit you're getting from that shit, and like, don't be surprised when you look up and you're in like your mid-30s and like that be like the best kind of man you can attract, because the sexual marketplace has taken it. You've lost value in that realm, and it's gonna be a lot harder to find what you're gonna feel is sufficient for you, because you're not going to have the bargaining power to like demand to demand value that you yourself don't wield. Like, I understand the push and pull, and you feel like this 1 minute, but then you're not sure. Like, if you're not sure, that's like being 99% sure. Like, you're not sure. That's still unsure. There's still 1% of uncertainty on your end, and it will be accounted for. It's like you need to be 100% certain, because these are the kind of decisions. It's like tattoo removal. It's like that shit's not fully gone. Like, a motherfucker can see that you had something there. It's not like nothing. It don't look like brand new. There's always going to be some remnant, some trace. Some actions are irreversible, and it seems like, the consequences of some actions are irreversible. I should put it like that. And the consequences of your indecisiveness are going to be you missing your window of opportunity and potentially ending up bitter about that if you realize that that's what's happened. If you come to accept that sexual marketplace value and things like that are not just buzzwords, it's an actual thing. It's how life actually works. Like it or not, it's the way the world works. So, young lady, my advice to you would be stop looking for relationships and start looking for marriage. Like, cut this guy off. You did most of the work already, but you're bullshitting on the dismount. Like, get it right. Send this motherfucker packing, and exhibit the qualities that is most likely to attract you to a man that's geared toward marriage and family, would be my advice. But you can do whatever you want, and I hope you do, but I just hope whatever you choose, you're satisfied with the end result. And that's just some dating advice from a stranger. By The Verge, courtesy of Wes Davis, Andrew Tate has been indicted in Romania on charges of human trafficking. Interesting. Social media influencer Andrew Tate was indicted in Romania on charges of human trafficking, rape, and the creation of a criminal organization. Romanian authorities announced today. Authorities also proposed extending the house arrest of Tate, his brother, Tristan Tate, and 2 associates who were also charged. Tate and the other defendants are alleged to have recruited 7 people by misleading them about an intent to, quote, establish a marriage cohabitation relationship, according to the Romanian Law Enforcement Agency Directorate for Investigating Organized Crime and Terrorism, or DICOT. They were later held against their will and through, quote, physical violence and mental pressure, sexually exploited on video for distribution on social media, the agency wrote. Who is Andrew Tate, as described in a profile on Vox.com? Andrew Tate is a 35-year-old former kickboxer, ex-reality show contestant, and current podcaster slash, quote, king of toxic masculinity, whose inflammatory diatribes against women, whom he compares to property, have become viral fodder on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube over the last several years. Until recently, he was also the head of a subscription-based online course program called Hustlers University, in which customers paid up to $49 per month to learn, supposedly, how to earn $10,000 per month through crypto investing, drop shipping, or other scam-adjacent activities. Tate's lawyer said his client is innocent, and Tate suggested that the Romanian government just wants to confiscate his cash. According to Reuters, the indictment published by Romania's anti-organized crime prosecuting unit also called for confiscating land, buildings, 15 luxury cars, and cryptocurrency wallets. Per the Reuters report, the case won't start right away. Romanian law dictates a judge will have 60 days to ensure the legality of the case filed before the trial begins. The group was arrested in December, a day after Tate, who had been on the run, bragged on Twitter about his 33 cars and their emissions, tagging environmental activist Greta Thunberg. Thunberg was unimpressed. In January, when Tate sought to appeal the judge's decision to extend his arrest from 24 hours to 30 days, a Romanian court rejected the appeal, citing flight risk. All right, well, seems like the Romanian government still has a bone to pick with Andrew Tate. I know ever since he got out of jail, I haven't been seeing as many Andrew Tate videos on YouTube. I haven't been hearing as much about Andrew Tate in general. And I largely, as much as I don't think he did it, I don't know. I'm sure that it's possible and it's likely that he may have done it. I know I would much rather think that he didn't do it. I would much rather think he has no need to. I would much rather think it's just an effort by the Matrix to be corrupt and to take him down and to use him as an example as to why everybody should play ball and fucking give in to this cockamamie-ass narrative. Shit's nuts. I mean, they said they got 7 people, and it's happened right after he started messaging Greta Thunberg. Like, I don't know. It's a lot of fishy details in it that make it hard for me to like sit down on how I actually feel about it. You know, like definitively. Like I said, I never had a problem with Andrew Tate. I never really have a problem with anybody who says the things that need to be said. Like unhinged, unleashed. Just saying what needs to be said, like sticking to the objective truth, like even though other people don't like it. A bunch of fucking cookie dough liberals and fucking like soft ass, fragile individuals who really don't contribute much to the whole grand scheme of this thing. Like it's just a bunch of neon colored hair wussies bitching about some shit, not liking the way something was said, like just being a fucking pansy. Like, nobody likes that. Nobody likes that. It's not likable. It's just a universally detestable behavior. Like, all this shit. And they say, or at least I've heard that, like, Romania's government is, like, one of the most corrupt governments in the world. So it's like the deck is stacked against you. Like, you're going up against a corrupt government who may or may not have found something, and they just imprisoned you for like 4 months. Like you missed the whole season. And it's like, it seemed like he quieted down a little bit. He hadn't been making as many Andrew Tate posts circulating, at least from where I first saw him on YouTube. Like it's been quieter. I've seen more like of Tristan Tate more so than like Andrew Tate. And the Andrew Tate I have seen has been like mild at best. It's not really anything controversial or anything that would ruffle feathers or get shit stirred up. You know, it was just a real, like I said, real mild, real tame, you know, real civil kind of vibe, at least on the Andrew Tate front. as compared to when he fucking took over the world. You know, took the world by storm, I should probably say. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not, if they had to fabricate some shit on him, like they really picked the correct area, because it's like in the business he was in, he commonly admits to having fucking running the fucking webcam studio with all the girls, and it's just like the business you're in creates the link to the kind of activity that they're trying to indict you for, or that they're indicting you for. So it's like, just objectively looking at the facts and like what I know, what we know, the possibility is there. Like, it'll always be possible that you could have done this, or that you are culpable, like you complicit with this shit to some degree. But I haven't really seen any of the evidence, if there is any, to like publicly and personally fucking like come down, just be like, oh no, the Tates are evil, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't think that at all. And if it's evidence, I would like to see some evidence. But like in the meantime, I just don't think he did. I don't think he did it. I don't think him and his brother did it. I don't know who the other two people are, but I feel like it's an op. And I don't know, they call me biased, call me whatever. Like, I know they want to see him go down. I understand why people want to see him go down. A lot of people don't even know why they don't like Andrew Tate. You know, they have to be explained. It has to be explained to them why they don't like him. You know, or they have to try to explain why they don't, and then get bodied, get owned, get destroyed. You know. So yeah, best wishes going forward for Tate. You know, good luck getting through all of this shit. I really hope he didn't do it. I believe he didn't do it, but we'll see what is the end result of this Romanian trial and this Romanian court, Romanian law. Like, I don't know anything about that shit. Can't even front. So I wish you the best, man. Time to fire up if you haven't already. That's what the fuck I'm doing. Let me see here. Insider, courtesy of Alet Sheffy. It's a little dated, but 37,800 student loan borrowers are getting back $3.3 million worth of checks in the mail after a debt relief company, quote, falsely promised loan forgiveness, but instead, quote, pocketed customers' payments, a federal watchdog says. The FTC accused Elite Financial Group of scamming student loan borrowers out of $3.3 million. It'll be sending checks in the mail to 37,800 borrowers, it says, were harmed by the company. Specifically, the FTC said the group promised promised debt relief, but instead pocketed consumers' payments. So yeah, top consumer watchdog just cracked down on yet another company and said scammed student loan borrowers out of millions of dollars. Last week, the FTC announced it is sending checks totaling over $3.3 million to 37,800 student loan borrowers who gave money to Elite Financial Group, a debt relief company. According to the FTC's press release, Elite Financial pretended to be affiliated with the education department and, quote, falsely promised borrowers debt relief, but instead, quote, pocketed customers' payments and never provided the promised relief. You don't say. How much more of this do I really need to read? Defendants promise. I'm sorry, y'all. This is some strong shit. Gave me hiccups. I got fucking hiccups now. There we go. Sorry you guys had to hear that, but This is life. Defendants, quote, defendants promised consumers that in exchange for the payment of upfront fees and subsequent monthly fees, they would reduce or eliminate consumers' student loan balances. However, a refinance will regularly fail to reduce or eliminate consumers' loan balances or monthly payments. The FTC first made these allegations in 2019, accusing Reed and several other companies of scamming borrowers and charging illegal upfront fees under the guise of student loan forgiveness. Borrowers involved will soon receive a check in the mail that should be cashed within 90 days from the refund administrator, J&D Legal Administration, which partners with the FTC to facilitate refund processes. A refinancial group cannot immediately be reached for comment. Go figure. This is far from the only scam student loan borrowers are falling victim to. Over the past few years, the FTC has sent refunds to borrowers following a number of different scams. For example, it made the watchdog announce it stopped two, quote, student loan debt relief schemes that it said cheated borrowers out of about $12 million by making deceptive claims about relief that did not exist. In December, the FTC sent checks to another 23,000 borrowers after it accused 5 companies of illegally charging debt relief fees and misrepresenting interest rates. It's an especially precarious time for millions of student loan borrowers as they await a Supreme Court decision on President Joe Biden's plan to cancel up to $20,000 in student debt for federal borrowers. Regardless of the outcome of the decision, payments are scheduled to resume in October, with interest beginning to accrue again in September after an over 3-year payment pause. The Education Department previously warned this resumption could be a breeding ground for scams. Yada, yada, yada. It was a little bit more. I'll read it. In October, before 2 conservative-backed lawsuits passed the implementation of Biden's debt relief, the White House and Education Department released a fact sheet on preventing scams during the loan forgiveness process. Those actions included a list on how borrowers can detect scams, coordination with the FTC and Consumer Financial Protection Bureau to report scams in real time, and launch outreach campaigns to borrowers with accurate information on student loans. As Americans struggle with massive student loan debt and uncertainty around the prospect of forgiveness, scammers are looking to cash in, Samuel Levine, director of FTC's Bureau of Consumer Protection, said in a May statement. These lawsuits shut down student loan debt relief schemes, continue the agency's crackdown on junk fees, unwanted calls, and financial exploitation. So, my take on that is, first of all, is heinous. 37,000 motherfuckers just all looking to try to actually do the right thing here and clean up their debt, and they get fucking ripped off by a bunch of yahoos in suits. Well, that's just great, you know. I myself, like millions of other Americans, have student loan debt somewhere under 20 grand. So if Joe Biden were to pass this initiative, it would likely, you know, if I'm assuming it's just, if it's up to $20,000, anything you got is not going to be like choosy or be routed to particular types of debt or whatever. Like, I'm under 20 grand. So if it's 20 grand, whoop, wipes my shit clean out, you know? So you would think that I would support an initiative like that, which I would absolutely like to have my shit wiped out. But, I mean, I said I'd pay it back. I got a lot of debt that I need to take care of, and I would rather take care of the debt than get bailed out because we all got scammed. Well, I want to say scammed. That's the wrong word, but predatory practices in the educational sphere in academia. They targeted teenagers and gave them loans, knowing how this situation was likely to pan out. It was predatory in that fashion. Not saying that these teenagers and these youngsters didn't want to go to college or were seeking out secondary education, but it's a hard time in life. Like, after a year and a half, I knew I didn't want to go for criminal justice anymore. However, I didn't want to be one of those people that switched my major like 5 times, like, and just kept racking up debt in the process. Like, that money was just mine to spend. Like, that didn't seem wise. So that's why my shit's like only 16 grand or something like that. Last time I checked, like Sally Mae or some shit. It's not crippling, but it's quite a bit. I know some people who have well over $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 in student loan debt. And it's the type of debt that never expires. Like, it'll be with you till you die. So, well, I see it. People got a long time to pay for it. And cutting up to $20,000 on all those loans, like, what about the economic impact? Like, when people are saying these Democrats are just recklessly spending and have just no regard for financial conservatism or just being, budgeting. Like, I think we've extended the fucking U.S. debt ceiling a couple times, like, and we're like due on our bills and shit, and now we got to cut government programs and shit in order to be able to keep the fucking lights on in the country. And it's wild. It's wild to even think that that's real. But it's because of initiatives and shit like this. $20,000. Like, I understand the cost of living is high, but like, you got the rest of your life to pay this shit. Like, considering the fact that it doesn't expire, you can't default on a student loan. The word forgiveness and the idea of getting debt slashed, of course, is going to ring as like a positive thing. Like, people want to get rid of that shit, but if it's going to happen, I think 20,000 is too much per person who's eligible for the shit. And I think it's other things regarding the economy and infrastructure that could probably be tweaked and have more of a tangible, measurable, visible benefit for the American people than this right here. Like, the economy's fucked all over. And it's because of shit like this that's not... Cutting that debt is like retroactively activating reckless spending. Like, all this shit has been accounted for. Documents have been signed. Paperwork's been drafted. And then here the fuck you come touching shit retroactively, like, fucking up the future. Inflation's already through the roof, and they're asking Biden what he's going to do about inflation. What's he going to do about fucking inflation and the cost of things? I don't think this initiative is something that needs to be touched, especially under the Biden administration, and especially with rampant dishonesty and scams about, like, this shit got 38,000 fucking people, man. I know that's not, like, in comparison to the population, like, they can't scam everybody, like, but fucking 37 people, $3.5 million, and they said another 20,000 some people just recently got scammed to the tune of $12 million. Like, this is how it was presented to me. Like, let's have a little lesson about theft, and then we'll keep this shit pushing. But, like, okay, so let's say there's a store. You or one of your buddies or someone a loved one, someone you know, enters that store and successfully steals merchandise. That business had to pay to obtain that merchandise with the intent of selling it at a profitable price point. But when the merchandise is stolen, the money's already been spent on said product. So that shit's got to come from somewhere else. That money can't just be gone. That's not how businesses stay in business. Like, if that continues to happen, it's kind of like in Portland with Walmart. Like, fucking Walmart left Portland. Like, there are no Walmarts in Portland, Oregon, because the theft was so goddamn high and blatant that they couldn't turn a profit. Walmart couldn't turn a profit. People with bags just going into stores just without fear of repercussion or intervention, like just grotesquely and egregiously stealing. The theft was unmanageable. So when the cost of everything was going up, companies don't want to be there when they can be in a safer environment where they're getting less product stolen. Loss prevention is more applicable. And it's just a business decision. It's not even lower than a business decision level. Like, you're not in business if all your shit is going out for free. That's not business. That's foolery. So Motherfuckers got to play ball eventually. Like, all this money was taken, and if you just get forgiven for it, it's almost like the theft has been ignored. Like, we've all agreed to pay this shit back. And I understand it's difficult. It's difficult as hell. But, like, letting motherfuckers off the hook is what caused Walmart to leave Portland. This is why theft is not okay. Like, that money has to come from somewhere. Once you steal and leave that gap, since I don't have the physical product to recoup the money that I should have gotten for it, I got to raise the price on something else. You know? Sorry, I heard some motherfuckers outside my room. I always like to be nosy and check out some domestic violence that don't involve me, especially if it doesn't go past an argument. It's like to hear a good argument, a little verbal sparring, but I don't really care to see all the other shit. Yeah, so on this topic, like I don't, it sucks that those people got ripped off, but these are just all the more reasons to not forgive these loans. Like, we got to get some accountability financially up in this bitch. Like, we can't just keep forgiving everything. Like, people are calling us a failed society. We got to hunker down, tighten up, and we got to rebuild trust in in the system, which is probably not it's possible, but not plausible. Put it like that. We got to rebuild faith in the system, and we got to have some financial accountability, and we need to do it in this upcoming election, and if sooner, if even possible. But we know motherfucking Democrats, they will just spin and just try to and get all these programs going that, some of them are necessary and vital, yes, but others are just response to emotional cries that, like, we don't really have time to focus on that shit. We just really don't. We need to, get the books right. So motherfuckers can't keep getting scammed and people don't take advantage of fucking bills that are just going to further damage the economy and send the nation into a financial panic, a spiral downward. Like, we got to fix this shit, and we got to fix it now. And it starts with motherfuckers, figuring out a way to make it happen. You got the rest of your life. USA Today, Kayla Jimenez. Nearly 1/3 of nation's homeless population lives in California, new research shows. Wow. That's kind of stunning. Nearly 1/3 of all people who are, it says unhoused, but I'm going to replace that word with homeless. Nearly 1/3 of all people who are homeless in the United States live in the Golden State, according to a new study released Tuesday. The California statewide study of people experiencing homelessness also reveals 50% of all homeless people in the country who may or may not have a car to sleep in live in California. Also, 90% reported that the cost of housing was the main reason they could not escape homelessness. The results of the study confirmed that far too many Californians experience homelessness because they cannot afford housing, wrote Margot Cashel, a principal investigator of the study and director at University of California, San Francisco's Benioff Homelessness and Housing Initiative. The study encompasses findings from nearly 3,200 surveys and 365 in-depth interviews with the adults experiencing homelessness across the state between October 2021 and November 2022. It is, quote, the largest representative study of homelessness in the United States since the mid-1990s, according to the study, which was requested by California Governor Gavin Newsom's administration, Fortune reported. More than 1 million people experience homelessness in the United States in a given year, and many more are at risk of losing their homes, according to the Biden administration. Florida, New York, and Washington also had high rates of homelessness last year, and the annual homeless assessment annual homeless assessment report shows. The report provides data and analysis for funding decisions by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. What does the study reveal? The study found that many people could not afford homes in the state. Nearly all people surveyed said they face barriers like, well, quote, face barriers like poor credit history, discrimination, health challenges, or prior evictions when trying to rent or buy a home. California is experiencing a housing shortage crisis, and the state is home to some of the most unaffordable places to live in the country. The research shows the incalculable personal cost of homelessness, Cushel wrote in the release. California's homeless population is growing older in age, with the median age of participants being 47 years old, the new research shows, with nearly half the state's homeless population being 50 years old or older. An overrepresented majority are Latino, Black, or Latino 35%, Black 26%, Native American 12%. A vast majority of people surveyed were from or last housed in California, and about 20% of the homeless people surveyed came straight from institutions. 2/3 of all participants surveyed reported struggling with mental health issues at the time they were surveyed, and 72 had experienced some type of physical violence in their lifetime, the findings show. Many of the homeless people the Institute surveyed are looking for jobs. Participants were disconnected from the job market and services, but almost half were looking for work, a news release attached to the study reads. To combat the growing housing needs, the group is recommending 6 policy changes, including 1. Increasing access to housing affordable to extremely low-income households. 2. Expanding targeted homelessness prevention, such as financial supports and legal assistance. Providing robust supports to match the behavioral health needs of the population. Upping household incomes through evidence-based employment supports. Growing outreach and service delivery to people experiencing unsheltered homelessness, and embedding a racial equity approach in all aspects of homeless system service delivery. In an attempt to reduce homelessness nationwide by 25% by January 2025, the Biden administration last month unveiled an initiative called All Inside to help homeless people in cities with high homeless populations access federal services. Those cities include Los Angeles, Chicago, Dallas, Phoenix, and Seattle. Okay. So, man, 50% of motherfuckers, what is the title of this? This a third? Nearly 1/3 of the homeless population in America lives in fucking Cali. See, from being from Detroit, and when I got to Vegas, the way I heard people talking about California and the way they was, Californians they're not humans. There's something else. They not, call me what you want to call me, Midwesterner, fucking Yank, or whatever little shit. But these motherfuckers, in my experience, they are not like typical normal human beings that I'm used to. They got an aura of eccentricism. It's something. It ain't something you can really quite put your finger on though. The shit is a weird fucking just abnormality. It's a anomaly phenomenon. These motherfuckers is something else. I went to LA for a couple days when I first came out west. Caught the Flix bus out there. And this review can be taken with a grain of salt because I also had other ailments and I had to go to the hospital while I was there. So I fucking didn't, I didn't really have the opportunity to give LA the fair shot that, to give a real tourist perspective on it. But if you ignore all of that shit, I fucking hated it. It reminded me a lot of Detroit in the area that I was, which I could barely recall because all I know is I went to a dispensary out there And they had a room where you could smoke, and fucking everything was in jars. They weighed my shit up, put it on the scale. Like, that shit felt like a hood dispensary. Like, it almost felt like I did something illegal. But, like, that was, like, the extent of whatever the fuck I had going on out there. Like, that was that. I didn't really get to see much. I didn't get to do much. But the brief moment I was able to move about and navigate, I just reminded me of Detroit. Like, just just looked less like a war just ended in the part I was in. Like, it was just as like fucking, it had like that stucco, like Western kind of like theme to it. But overall, I just was like, nah, just living in Vegas, this homeless shit this is the most radically abject form of fucking homelessness I've seen. Like, I don't recall homelessness being like the way it is out here back home. Like, first of all these motherfuckers are carpenters. Like, they're all master builders. Like, it's almost like you living in a fucking match of Fortnite. Like, not the zero build. Like, you just in fucking Fortnite. And the moment you fucking shoot at somebody, this motherfucker constructs the wind right in front of you. And it's like UV proof. Like, it's just some new innovative shit that's just meant to like disadvantage your ass further. Like, this motherfucker's like building monuments and landmarks and shit, like, before the bullet can even touch. And it's shit. Like, come on now. If building was like that, why can't we just build something for like, where they gonna go? Like, who's gonna fund that shit? And who's gonna contribute to the continuity of it? Like, it's, keeping that shit going. Like, you see an abandoned house out here, for one, if a motherfucker finds it, they take like this kind of one-sided mental ownership of that shit. Like, you act like you own it, but don't got the motherfucking power in nobody's name. The power is like rigged on somehow. And like the water's rigged on somehow. And there's no title, there's no deed to the house. Like, one motherfucker find this shit, but act like it's his. He act like he found a pair of headphones on the ground or some shit. Like, you can just take and most likely get away with. But that shit right there, I'm just it's hard to even really, I just can't believe like a 30%, nearly 33% of the homeless population. And what they say is gonna do, New York or Chicago, Dallas, Phoenix. I think it said New York. Like, they about to guinea pig this shit out, but I don't think sending these motherfuckers checks or like creating some kind of housing, like, it would be like you just be actively building ghettos. Cause I know, like, it's not gonna be very many people who fucking appreciate and admire what that would mean for them. A lot of these motherfuckers are gonna just look at it as a pit stop and hop right the fuck back out the door. Like, it's just gonna be a place they do their makeup. That shit's crazy. It's really, really crazy. I'm not no economist. I don't do like public planning or nothing like that. So I couldn't even sit here and act like I got the solution to it. I don't think the solution is jailing people or like, maybe some of these people that's mentally ill out here, like they need to be committed somewhere, get some of them off the streets. But a lot of the people I've seen on the streets out here, like to any degree that I've gotten to know any of them, any one person of that group that I'm affiliated with, like motherfuckers don't want their own shit. Like they kind of like want to not have shit and basically have you there to share all your shit. So they might give back a little bit, but no, not like in the how you might be expecting it type way, I just know I wouldn't want to see none of my people in that situation. But this last bout of homelessness, which I'm not even like fully out of, I'm kind of just sidestepping at the moment. But I don't care. Like it's something. It's something about helping people with that particular issue. Like if you help them, very rarely will like that be the missing piece to the puzzle that fixes everything. Like motherfuckers will just lean on you. And that shit it fuck with your judgment a little bit. Like now you can't, you kind of standoffish. And people can like read that energy off you. And you just like standoffish. Or everybody you be sitting with, like y'all end up falling out or something. Oh, some bad thoughts just went through my head thinking about this shit. Got to get my mind out of that gutter. But yeah, a lot of homeless people in Cali. Like I thought it was a lot of homeless people here, so it kind of made me not want to go back. Like I really wanted to go back and give LA another try, but California is already like, at least for a Midwesterner, weird as fuck. And I'm not really trying to learn no traditions that's weird as fuck. So it just get you, get you in, get you out, bow, bow, bow. I just can't, I'm not about that life. I might seem like it, might have acted like it in the past, but I'm not. I am just chilling and relaxing and just trying to move forward in my damn life, man. It's easier said than done sometimes. But, I think homelessness is definitely more of a state of mind than like an actual phenomenon. Like homelessness doesn't happen to you. Like, it just be a decision. It's different when it's a decision you got to make, or it's a decision that's been thrust upon you. It's a difference between the two of them. So if you can comprehend that difference and articulate it appropriately, you kind of understand where you lie among that. But, you know, that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes, man. Not going back to Cali. At least until this homeless population dumbed down a little bit. I'll feel better about it.